They took the choice to ignore you and maintain their distance. Now, when they begin to face the consequences, you will begin to face yours. They kept quiet when you needed them the most, and you will likewise keep silent while justice is served. A lack of rescue, kindness, and intervention is evident. All of the universe's debts have been brought into balance, and the payment is due today. When you were most vulnerable, they abandoned you. Today, they are standing alone. Just like when they left you, the staff meeting in which they nodded while your ideas were attributed to someone else. During the family lunch, falsehoods about you went uncontested. The social media outbursts in which professed friends remained silent, as well as the rumors that they allowed to spread like wildfire while professing neutrality, are all occasions to remember that the universe has been recording in HK quality, acting as if it were a heavenly investigator conducting a forensic investigation. Your fingerprints have been gathered from each knife that has been placed into your back. Text messages, surveillance video, money transfers, and whispered conversations that they thought would disappear into thin air are all instances of receipts heaped high in the region where the heavenly evidence is being investigated. You were the group chat member who complained that they did not include you in the birthday celebration or invite you to the promotion that they knew you earned, but you did not disclose the false allegation that could have been cleared with a single fact. The sick bed that they did not visit, the loan that they did not return, the credit that they eagerly took, and the reputation that they let to be destroyed when a single lie would have changed everything. There was no stranger among these people. They were the ones that texted you and said they were thinking of you. Those who referred to you as their closest friend and family. Those who ate holiday dinners at your table. Those who had the passcode to your phone. And others who observed your goodness firsthand, but conveniently produced amnesia since speaking out would have cost them something. Their treason was not predicted in the stars. Rather, it was documented in red receipts, blue checkmark notifications indicating they noticed, and the odd silence that followed your plea. Can we speak? Their intended neutrality in the face of the need for friends was not cosmic. Instead, it was cowardice, dressed in a spiritual masquerade. That was their current conduct. The universe's backup drive is now downloading gigabytes worth of receipts. That text message from the group that orchestrated everything back, that private conversation overheard in the break room, as well as those money transfers they thought were untraceable, was highlighted. IP addresses were captured for the fraudulent social media accounts that they established, metadata that was maintained in the papers that they changed, and lies they said while under oath that were refuted by their own previous statements. It's like seeing someone who believed they'd deleted their browser history only to discover that the cloud had saved everything. The digital trail they leave behind is like a neon expressway, leading straight to unanticipated consequences. You did not get here by chance. You were guided. If something in your soul is stirring, do not dismiss it. Tap join to get access to unique information, prophetic insights, and a community of purpose-driven individuals. This is not just a membership. It's time for you to come into harmony, to be accepted into the selected, embody who you were created to be. The most delightful aspect of this justice is that it requires no effort from you. There will be no confrontations, receipt posting, or complex revenge schemes. The universal algorithm supports automated execution. It is not your obligation to push the boulder of justice upward. Rather, it is your obligation to just stand aside while it slides freely down. Consider these people who felt they were so brilliant, powerful, and above the reach of world justice. Look at how they scamper about like insects when the darkness is illuminated. Observe how they turn on one another in an attempt to preserve themselves as their unified front crumbles into dust. Remember how they nodded in agreement when they heard falsehoods about you? When you were painted in deceptive hues, there was someone on the opposite side of the room with terror written all over their face. Do you recall how they stood there, quietly cooperating with you? In a symbolic sense, one was repaid for their betrayal by obtaining silver coins. Throughout millennia, the price of betrayal has remained relatively constant. The person who is attempting to run across borders before judgment is given down is suffering a searing sense in their conscience. People are conscious of what they've done. Every hour passes by, they are aware of the cosmic noose tightening tighter. They clearly understand that money is now due, as seen by their frantic efforts to fake their own departure. Watch as the roots of the spiritual organization that housed these conspirators and provided a religious cover for profane conduct. Shake anytime the truth chooses to shake things up. Institutions built on falsehoods cannot continue to exist. The revered shrines will be empty of their valuables. Their coffers will be exhausted, and their power will dissolve like salt in the seas of the universe. One of them still had a gleam of divine light in their clouded spirit. This was the one who became more concerned as the plot unfolded. This was the individual who discovered, maybe too late, that causing damage to a divinely protected entity had far-reaching consequences. This whistleblower, who was formerly considered one of your antagonists, has decided to come forward and expose the truth after many years. They have meticulously built illusions, but their testimony is like purifying water, washing them away. They describe of parties in which your extermination was meticulously planned. They disclose documents that were falsified with malevolent purpose. They confess to carrying out psychic attacks on you when the moon was dark in the sky. Every last detail is shown. Every participant is recognized. Every cache is accounted for. And every approach is disclosed. The other folks gaze at this truth speaker with a poisoned glance. They hiss between clenched teeth. Traitor. However, who betrayed whom? The conspirators violated the universal rules of justice. They violated their higher selves by aligning themselves against someone who walks in light. They betrayed the heavenly light that already existed inside them. Despite their most frantic attempts to obliterate your existence from this earthly plane, you continued to stand, breathe, and live while this storm raged around you, frequently undetected. Do you understand the unique nature of this situation? Do you realize your important spiritual resilience? They flung everything at you with unwavering resolve. False reports aiming to deprive you of your basic rights were sent via mechanisms intended to safeguard you. Character assassination tactics that were deliberately planned to separate you from prospective supporters, spreading like poison over groups you formerly trusted. Financial assaults intended to disrupt your material base, striking when you were most weak economically. Spiritual warfare was directed at your inner soul, struck amid your lowest times of uncertainty. The cosmos has a very precise direction for you, and it is being delivered to you under the authority of natural law. You should not act in any manner. They will perform the whole circus show shortly. The shaky voice will accompany the sad phone call, stating, "I know we haven't spoken in months, but I really need your help right now." The handy spiritual awakening will come in the form of long texts describing how I've been doing a lot of healing work and realized I wasn't being a good friend to you. The selective amnesia will manifest in ambiguous messages, such as, "I don't understand why you're so cold." Both of these events will occur concurrently. The guilt trip will materialize as emotional pleadings reminding you of all we've gone through. Are you really going to forsake me now? The guilt trip will remind you that you have always supported yourself. The common friend messenger may suddenly approach you, stating that they are going through a difficult moment and just need someone to chat to on social media about it. During stressful times, Signal will seem as hazy postings about determining who your true pals are. After 6 months of inactivity, you will get casual texts stating, "Hey, stranger. It has been a long time since we spoke, and I miss you. If God's kindness has touched you, don't keep it a secret. Click super. Thank you. So, please consider making a $10 or more donation to assist spread His light. Your generosity spreads grace, blesses hearts, and builds His kingdom. Allow His abundance to pass through you." What's your response to each of these performances? They provided you the same energy when you phoned them weeping after the betrayal, and to their surprise, they were quite busy. The same attentiveness that they gave when you asked a witness to testify accurately about what had happened. However, they just forgot the complexities of the case. The same feeling of urgency that they had when you inquired about the money they owed you when your rent was due and they promised to give it to you shortly. The same sensation of presence that they provided while you were in the hospital waiting for guests who opted not to come due to a more pressing matter. The same amount of reaction as when you sent the vulnerable text message, which was unread for many days before getting a generic answer. Their comparable help when you were the sole one dealing with those bogus claims, whilst they opted to keep quiet in order to protect their own interests. The same amount of joy that they had when you toasted that success to crickets, while also bestowing praise on others for less significant accomplishments, helps you realize the major spiritual lesson that is being revealed via this event. In addition to words, the universe communicates with us via our experiences. This cosmic lesson has far-reaching implications. Answers. This exhibits the basic principles that govern all existence, which state that the truth cannot be hidden for an indefinite length of time. Finally, the worldwide archaeological team succeeds in uncovering all that was hidden. Divine timing is distinguished by unmatched precision. What seems to be a delay is usually intentional placement with the goal of maximizing effect. Your guardians have never abandoned their positions, even during the most terrible times of your life. Spiritual protection works even when it is not apparent. Contracts between souls are capable of fulfilling themselves without the assistance of humans. Whatever was planned to be will finally become reality. There is no need for humans to implement divine justice since the global correction mechanism operates autonomously, perfectly, and unwaveringly in high-definition reality. You are seeing these cosmic rules being carried out directly in front of your eyes. Today, this is more than just a theory or a spiritual philosophy. Rather, it is the application of universal laws. Your left on read may be termed poetry. You are unable to respond. Your call would be regarded both literature and a new phone. Who demonstrates creative ability? This purposeful absence teaches something that your words, no matter how well you explain it, could never communicate. They paid no heed, despite the fact that you supplied facts. They dismissed it. When you expressed your uneasiness, they minimized it. They can feel your absence in their neurological system. However, by being quiet, you can accomplish something that debate could never do with grace and effectiveness. This creates a wide, empty area in which the individual's own thoughts become the relentless prosecutor, asking questions you have never had to explain. By doing so, they are forced to face themselves in the mirror without deflection, eliminating the easy diversion of defending against you. As a result, it diminishes their practicing ability to misinterpret your words into fresh manipulations, forcing you to defend yourself once again. They are unable to rewrite history in real time while they talk to you, changing their tale with each answer. Because this prevents them from doing so without the relief that comes from your forgiveness, they are forced to sit in an awkward posture while experiencing the anxiety that comes with unresolved tension. This gives them the invaluable chance to experience precisely what they supplied for you at the moment when you needed it most. The deafening sound of silence at a time when communication was crucial. You aren't here by coincidence. Feel the pull tap. Join to discover the truth, your purpose, and a tribe that understands. This is more than just a membership. It's your call. Observe their progress through the phases of consequence while keeping a safe distance. They begin by telling themselves that they are confused. They must not have received my mail, or it must have gone to spam. This rapidly turns into entitlement as they fume within. I can't believe they are ignoring me after all I have done for them. When entitlement fails to provide outcomes, anger develops as they tell themselves that this is so infantile that they must mature and move on. As they realize that anger isn't working, they resort to bargaining, thinking, if they just talk to me, I could explain everything and they'd understand. There is no reaction when negotiating concedes. Depression sets in with the awful realization. I assume this is over, and there's nothing I can do about it. Finally, if they have any self-awareness, come. You are recuperating your energy, restoring your boundaries, and shifting your attention to people who really need your presence. While they are experiencing this emotional maelstrom, this is the most potent aspect of the issue moving ahead. Adopt the perspective of the cosmic observer. Consider the matter from the viewpoint of stars, who have seen the rise and fall of entire civilizations. Consider this problem from their perspective. Examine these events through the lens of galaxies that have seen the development of life from primitive forms to more sophisticated forms of awareness. as a consequence of the increased awareness. The human drama unfolding below looks to be big and trivial at the same time. Despite the fact that they feel they are making their own choices, each participant follows their single script with extreme precision. Despite the appearance of chaos from the ground, each unexpected turn of events adds to the broader cosmic story. As a participant, you play several roles, including witness, actor, audience member, character, and author. The paradoxical circumstance in which you find yourself offers you with a unique perspective, which is the capacity to fully perceive everything while simultaneously transcending its bounds. This observer awareness is your birthright as a multidimensional being who is now focused on the physical world. Use your heightened consciousness to see the process of cosmic correction unfolding in front of you. When you stop feeding relationship parasites, your whole system resets in ways that look miraculous at first sight, but are merely the natural effects of saving energy. The brain fog you didn't even realize existed lifts like morning mist, exposing mental clarity you forgot was possible. Take notice of what occurs in the vacuum left by their disappearance. That is caused by their absence. There is no reason for why the stuff that has been in your stomach for so long suddenly releases itself, allowing for true hunger and pleasure, rather than feeling anxious and tossing and turning. Sleep deprivation returns with vivid dreams and deep renewal. As soon as you stop squandering resources on unforeseen bills and loans that never pay off, the money that has always appeared to vanish for no apparent cause begins to accumulate once your sadness is no longer obstructing your perspective. Unexpected opportunities appear in plenty. The previously suppressed creativity rushes like a river after the spring thaw, bearing with it amazing ideas that even surprise you by their beauty in the absence of purposeful ambiguity clouding your judgment. The seemingly impossible options became clear as your energy field returned to its regular, healthy state. You will notice that relationships that feed rather than exhaust you draw you. The saboteurs were never clear on what they were blocking. They believed they were exercising control over someone rather than momentarily disturbing a natural energy that adopts the human shape. They mistook your patience for weakness, your complexities for misunderstanding, and your compassion for innocence, which they misconstrued as naivety. Because of their limited perspective, they were unable to understand that they were trying to confine an ocean with a paper cup. They were unaware that they were not lowering the brightness of your light. Rather, they were just throwing short shadows, which made your eventual brilliance much more dazzling. How about we go down to Earth and discuss those betrayals that seem to be cosmic accidents? In actuality, they were precise devices designed with a particular purpose in mind. Nonetheless, knowing does not bring much comfort after an unpleasant event. The betrayal highlighted your unique superpower of perseverance in a way that no other scenario could have. You found a strength that you had never realized was inside your being. When they pushed you to the brink of breaking it, you did not crack under their strain. Despite the fact that you felt every ounce of its strain, the emotional weight that would have killed others just slightly bent you. Because of their dishonesty, you realized that your powers much beyond what you had previously believed were possible. Vital connection surgery was conducted, for which you could not have given authorization. There were certain relationships that needed to be broken completely, but you were too committed to your word and your promises to cut the cord alone. You were freed of attachments that were gradually poisoning your soul as a consequence of their betrayal, which carried out the amputation that you had been unable to bring yourself to accomplish. Even if the agony was severe, the sickness can no longer spread. The deception that they committed substantially increased the efficacy of your BS. A detecting system. Your intuition now detects red flags at the first flash, rather than after billboards shouting danger. When someone isn't real, you get a funny feeling in your gut. This is your upgraded internal security system acting with unparalleled awareness. You are now aware of the little signs of dishonesty that have before compromised your capacity to defend yourself. Their excessive conduct put limits on you that you were unable to create for yourself because you were too accommodating, despite the fact that evidence suggests otherwise. You were raised to be compassionate, to believe in people regardless of their circumstances, and to give them second and seventh chances. Their conduct was so appalling that they ultimately gave you permission to declare, "Absolutely not," without feeling bad or offering an explanation for your comments. You no longer need to explain why you are defending yourself. Their absence forced you to develop something you had been subconsciously resisting, although knowing it was necessary. Comfort zones are ideal for a warm atmosphere, but they might ultimately limit your progress. Because of their treachery, you were compelled to leave the nest you had outgrown, but you were hesitant to do so on your own. You couldn't put into words how dreadful the free fall was until you understood you had the power to fly with enormous force when necessary. Nonetheless, you should recognize this fundamental truth of your experience. They were a typecast in your life narrative, contrary to their belief that it was the other way around, despite the fact that they were following stage directions in your hero's journey and playing the necessary opposition that pushes character development. They were under the assumption that they were developing the script. Their treason was not due to luck or terrible circumstances. Rather, the perfect catalyst was necessary to awaken latent components of your most powerful self, which would have stayed dormant under more comfortable circumstances. As justice manifests in the visible world, the unseen worlds celebrate your triumph. The light has finally broken. Those who accompanied you through the worst hours are screaming out in gladness. Your ancestors, who supplied you with support and aid when you believed you couldn't carry on, are now ecstatic as your vindication comes true. This cosmic triumph is mirrored in the stars themselves, which are brighter than before. The elements respond to this restoration of natural order by causing you to feel the winds of change blowing through your life, the firm earth solidifying beneath your feet, the purifying rivers washing away the remnants of battle, and the transforming fire consuming what no longer serves its purpose. They will use techniques that are specifically targeted to your susceptible cities, and they will do so with surgical precision. Using the words "remember that time when" as a starting point, they will exploit past experiences to get beyond your present barriers by appealing to your emotions of nostalgia. They will promise transformation by saying things such, "I've changed so much you wouldn't recognize me," delivering the redemption arc that you had hoped for but was never delivered on. They will make assertions like, "No one understands me like you do," in order to capitalize on a previously disregarded relationship. In order to appeal to your unique connection,